Not everybody has the ability to focus on the game for 10 hours a day, but throwing it up on a second monitor and AFKing while you get some work done is a great way to make some passive GP or gain some XP. And with that in mind, welcome to AFKing 9 to 5. Fellas, Happy New Year and good morning. Welcome back to some no tether AFK content. Normally, I would only say morning, but today we're fishing, so it's a good morning. In previous episodes, I tested the XP and GP rates for karambwans as well as both type of eels. So today I want to try out 4 different fishing methods to see which method is the ideal option for AFKing fishing during your workday. In this one, I'll be trying monkfish, anglerfish, sharks, and a variation of barbarian fishing for 4 hours each. We'll find out the XP per hour, the GP per hour, the AFK times, and hopefully we'll find out which one is right for you. In this video, I'll be using a variety of different tools to catch the fish, so I'll tell you what you need for each one when we get there. But for the entirety of the video, I'll be wearing full angler just for the small amount of bonus XP, as well as using the fish barrel. I've talked about the fish barrel to death at this point, but this is a drop from Temperos that increases your inventory by 28 slots when fishing. This is a great quality of life items for longer fishing sessions, and I highly recommend it before you start doing a long fishing grind. Also, depending on what your goals are, you could use Rada's Blessing. This will offer you an extra chance at bonus fish based on which tier you have unlocked. Wearing it will give you slightly more GP per hour, but will give you less XP as the extra fish will obviously take up inventory space without awarding XP, and this will cause you to bank slightly more frequently. I personally don't use it when I'm going just for XP, so use it at your own discretion, but I will put a little pop-up on the screen where it is recommended. But with all the disclaimers out of the way, let's start day 1 with monkfish. These can only be caught at the Piscatoris fishing colony. This is just north of the AKQ ferry ring, so it's quite easy to get to. Or if you're a bit of a gamer, you can use the Western Province banner to teleport here, so the choice is yours. Monkfish, at least in my memory, aren't the greatest XP, but they are super AFK and offer at least a little bit of profit. To catch them, you'll need completion of the Swan Song quest, as well as at least level 62 fishing. So no crazy requirements, but there are some. These fish don't require any bait at all, so I'll just grab my small fishing net and I'll see you in 4 hours. Well, that was actually pretty chill. I'm actually very surprised just at how competitive this was compared to karambwans. The fishing spot is not static, so the AFK times vary a little bit, but on average, I would say the AFK time is roughly 2 minutes. But with any fishing spot that's not static, it can move instantly or take upwards of 5 minutes. The XP I was getting here was shockingly good. I really thought this was going to be like 25k an hour, but I was getting 37.8k. In 4 hours, I caught 1,228 monkfish, or 307 per hour. This means that on top of the XP, I was making a whole 57k GP per hour. So overall, the XP is pretty good, but the GP is pretty poor. In my opinion, it still falls below karambwans, but honestly, it was much better than I expected. I would honestly say this is a pretty viable option if you don't have good teleport options for karambwans. So I would say try this one out and see if it works for you. But just as a reminder, I am 99 fishing, so the rate you should expect will be slightly lower than what I'm getting, depending on what your current fishing level is. While I was here, some people in the 80 fishing range said they were getting closer to 30k an hour, so keep that in mind. If your goal for fishing is to get the pet, the drop rate here is 1 in 138,000. This means it would take you about 460 hours or 57.5 full work days. But during this grind, you would make roughly 27.6 mil, so a nice little bonus. This could be an option, but I still think it falls behind karambwans if you have the right teleports. Moving into the second half of day 1, I'll be fishing anglerfish to finish it out. These are incredibly AFK and I think somewhat profitable. I'm pretty sure the XP is pretty bad, at least to my knowledge, but to catch these, you'll need at least level 82 fishing, a regular fishing rod, some sandworms as bait, and as of January 2024, you'll need 100% Piscarilius favor to catch these. The favor system is set to be removed in the near future, so you might not have to worry about this requirement depending on when you decide to catch these. So let's head on down to the shore and get fishing. That was alright, you know. I had a bunch of meetings this afternoon, so this was much needed. The AFK time was probably the only selling point about these, being about 3 minutes per cast, but just like the monkfish, this spot is not static. It can disappear instantly or take upwards of 5 minutes. I'm not really shocked at the XP, it was pretty awful being only about 16k per hour, but if you're at a lower fishing level than 99, it can fall as low as 10k. Every hour I was catching 131 anglerfish, meaning I was only making 131k per hour. This method seems to have really fallen off over the years, and this is very surprising because of how many anglerfish are consumed daily for PVM activities and even just used for cooking XP. I'd assume it's because this place is being botted into oblivion, but who really knows? If you're going for the fishing pet here, the rate is 1 in 78,649. So on average, it would take you about 600 hours or 75 full workdays. I honestly think this method isn't for main accounts anymore. But if you're playing an Ironman, this is probably something you want to do at least a little bit, just so you have some really good food for the long run. But now it's time for me to make dinner and hang out for the rest of the night so I can rest up and fish the day away tomorrow. I'll see you very soon. Good morning, fellas. It's time to fish the day away. I think my day is set up in the opposite way from yesterday, with calls in the morning and some downtime in the afternoon. So let's start day 2 with a nostalgic method, catching sharks in the fishing guild. I'm gonna barehand these just for my own nostalgia, but you can use a dragon harpoon if you so choose. I think a lot of people forget that most guilds have an invisible skilling boost, and it's not just the woodcutting guild. So when you fish anything in here, you'll get a +7 boost to your current level. So maybe this will turn out to be an okay method, but I'll report back soon with my findings. Okay, this is pretty bad. If you're an Ironman and you want sharks, I think minnows are just a way better option. But if you're just hanging out, catching some sharks, good luck to you, because it is going to take forever to get a meaningful amount. The AFK is the only selling point. It's about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on some RNG. But again, just like everything we've caught so far, the fishing spot is not static, so it can disappear instantly or in upwards of 5 minutes. I am a little bit disappointed in the XP. It was very bad. I actually got pretty much the exact same rate I got at Anglerfish. It was about 16k per hour, and with a lower fishing level would be even lower. Every hour I was catching 140 sharks, meaning I was only making 62k per hour. I don't really know what I expected, to be honest. I know sharks are in the mud because of the minnow situation that's seemingly been going on for an eternity, but I was hoping the XP would make up for it, so I don't know. If I add sharks to my handy ranking chart, it's sitting at the bottom. I wish it wasn't, but the only real use I can see for this is for an Ironman that's stacking some sharks while working. The fishing pet here is 1 in 82,243, so on average it would take you about 587 hours or 73 full workdays. So this is slightly better than Anglerfish for the pet, but still not great. With the doom and gloom out of the way, to finish the episode, I'll actually be doing a method suggested in the comments of a previous video. I always wanted to do barrel barb fishing for an episode, but to do it at Otto's Grotto, you pretty much need both a fishing cape and the crafting cape at a bare minimum to make it worthwhile up there. And I'm sure that's great for anyone doing post 99 fishing, but I'd assume that's not most of you watching the video. But thanks to Adorables, we'll be doing barrel barb at Mount Quidamortem as an alternative. To do this, you just need a Barbarian fishing rod and some feathers, with a bare minimum of 48 fishing, 15 agility, and 15 strength. But to be completely honest, you won't get the best experience rates until at least 70 fishing, 45 strength, and 45 agility. This spot is at the Chambers of Zarek Bank, with the fishing spot being just slightly down the mountain. You can one-click the bank from the fishing spot, so that's a bonus, but you can't click the fishing spot from the bank. I have high hopes for this one. I would guess the XP is probably the top tier for AFK, but the AFK time might be something that puts people off, so enough yapping, let's test it out. And that's a wrap on this one. This method is pretty damn good. I thought my XP rates would be pretty low because of the run to the bank and to the fishing spot, but the XP is fantastic. For the first 2 hours or so, I was sitting very close to 60k an hour, but by the end of the day, it settled at 56.6k per hour, which is still very good. On top of that, I was also gaining 5k strength and agility XP per hour, which is a nice little bonus, on top of the already great fishing XP. You would think the GP here is pretty much non-existent, and well, you'd be right, but you are banking the fish, so you can sell them when you're done. Even though they're pretty cheap, you can sell this weird collection of fish for like 9 to 15 coins each, but it really depends on who's buying and if there's a market for it at this current time. These fish are used for a weird herblore method, mainly done by Ironmen, but some main accounts do it, so there is a market sometimes. I was catching 852 fish an hour, so this was making me about 10k. This GP will cover just a little bit more than the feathers you're using, so you're pretty much breaking even from fishing here. The AFK time for fishing these is kind of hard to calculate, since I had times where I clicked once and got a full inventory. This took about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and other times I caught one fish in 5 seconds and I had to click again. If I averaged it out, I would say the AFK time is at least 1 minute, with a high end of it being closer to a minute 30. This is probably the least AFK thing I did in this video, but it really wasn't that bad by any means. I think if you work a job where you can't glance over and click once or twice, this might not be for you, but this is a really good method to get some chill fishing XP. The pet rate from Barbarian Fishing is pretty high, but you catch a ton of fish an hour, so it kind of evens out. To get the pet here, it's a 1 in 426,954 chance. This means that if you wanted the fishing pet, it'd take you roughly 500 hours or 62.5 full work days. In that time, you'd gain roughly 28.5 million XP in fishing, so that's about 99 twice over, as well as 2.5 million strength and agility XP, so a nice little bonus to your pet hunt. As an example, if you started at 70 agility, you'd end at roughly level 85 by the time you got the pet. Not the greatest option for agility, but it's there. So let's quickly hop back into our handy ranking chart. This one would be very hard to rank, so I probably won't physically put it on here, but if your goal is purely XP, this is your best option by far. If you want something more AFK, I think you're still better off with Karambwans if you've got some good teleport options, or even Sacred Eels if you don't. There are a few more fishing methods like dark crabs that might be interesting to try out, but our averages get kind of skewed by PKers because we can't really calculate how frequently that happens. But who knows, maybe I'll try that one out and die out there in a future episode. If you have any other fishing methods that you do for some AFK XP or GP, I'd love to hear them, as I plan on doing a lot of fishing this year, so let me know in the comment section. Thank you to the big fellas, Snacks, DansSmeg'ead, and LokiFM, as well as the fellas, Jujo, iTalk, and Halal Platter. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. If you're not a member and want to become one, you can do so by clicking the join button below the video. This supports me and gives you access to pre-existing member-only ramble videos and anything new that gets uploaded there in the future. Other than that, I've really got nothing left to say, so I'll see you in the next one.